Hello, and thank you for joining us on Go After Your Passion Live. I'm Teresa Crowley, the host, and each and every week we get together here on a Wednesday night to share experiences with people who actually go after their passion and are very, very satisfied, very happy that they have done that. Because one of the things I like to say is when you are actually working, you're not going after your passion. When you're going after your passion and doing things you love, it's not work at all. And I was up in Canada last summer. I saw many, many people going right after it during a Center Stage Live. And Chantal Adams is one of my mentors. And one of the people who were going after it when I was up in Canada is Mary Silver. And Mary, thank you for joining me tonight on such short notice.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me, Teresa.
Now, you were up in Kelowna and we did Center Stage Live together, and we were basically told and mentored on how to tell our story. So can you tell us a little about yourself?
Absolutely. So I started back in, and actually we were just talking about this before we went live, but I've been doing this type of work since around the age of 19 years old and been in the helping profession since I graduated with my master's degree in 1997. But I believe that really the story unfolds as a child and grows to right here and right now. And I believe that your passions, your purpose in life always change. They change with you at the time, but there's always a theme. And the theme for me was helping women overcome emotional turmoil and trauma and really start to thrive in life. And I had really focused on relationships because I had been in a secret relationship for over 5 years that about only 4 people knew about. And it was extremely abusive. And I thought I had overcome it and left that relationship and found myself after I had gotten divorced in a relationship with a narcissist. So I knew it was my purpose in that moment to go out and help women and let them heal their patterns, heal their core wounds, and move into the light. And when you can see the light in your relationships, you do find your purpose and you do find your passion.
And I do remember listening and talking to you and just the way that we actually verbalize things. And you when we were talking before the camera went on, you have to be careful how you say things because you shouldn't be. I said that I really felt guilty because I wasn't keeping up on some of the friends and the social media that I really, would like to be able to do. And phrasing and the way that you use terminology, that's a real big deal. And I'm glad that you were telling me about that.
Absolutely. It's one of the first pieces of work. I don't really go over it in depth with my clients, but it's one of the first pieces I send out to them is how to use empowering language with yourself and others.
So when you're going after your passion, and you have many passions throughout your lifetime, can you maybe tell me about what drew you to this beyond your own experience? When did it just click?
When it clicked, I've gone down the entrepreneur path. Oh boy. I think when I was about 30 was when I figured out that working for somebody else really wasn't going to work for me. And that seems like a long time, but I had known it all my life. I was always the rule breaker, tend to, just not be the one in the corporate world that wanted to climb the ladder. I had no interest in it. And I was doing personal development work myself, and I was doing some therapy, obviously, with being in an abusive relationship. I was exploring that. And having the background that I had, I started thinking, there's no reason why I can't go out and do this on my own. And so when I was about 30, I started. That was a while back. I won't age myself.
Yeah, we don't want to go there.
But I did, I really started to believe that I started to feel like a part of me was dying. And literally, I felt it to my core. And I had said to somebody deeply important to me, and I said, I feel like if I don't do this, a part of me will die. I don't know exactly what it looks like, but part of me will die. And that person said, then there's no reason why you you would pick the door that leads to your death.
And you have, by leaps and bounds, been able to help people. I think it's the strength that, when you got up there and you were giving the speech and you're telling people that, I've been there. And so here I go. I'm going to try and help. You get right out there. And I thought that was so cool because a lot of people in the audience, or a lot of people, in general, and I hope tonight on our audience and throughout the world in the next few replays, realize that you're not alone. This story happens. The characters may change. Some of the circumstances may change, but you're not alone.
Absolutely. And I think that that's the biggest aha for me when I first started meeting people in our field and helping people and really going for our passions, was that the stories aren't that unusual. They change, and some are a little bit more traumatic and some are a little bit more drawn out. But the themes, again, I always go back to themes, how they play out become very similar to one another. And when we can lift one another up and empower each other, I think that's when change can occur, real true change can occur.
And I really like that on social media that we can now reach out. Now, I have to admit to something. Mary only lives 10 miles from me. And we are busy people, and she doesn't live far from me, but it's so nice that, I have a cousin in England that watches us, and I have people in Australia that catch this on the replay. And I think social media now and capitalizing on it is so important. And you said you do a lot of work on Instagram?
Yes, I do. I primarily spend my information, getting content out to people, is on Instagram because it's easy, it's fun, and it's playful. And I believe in playful energy. I believe that when we can really allow ourselves to get past our stories and move into really believing in our hearts that we are here for purposes and we're here to show love and love others and be loved, that's when it comes into play for me, at least on Instagram, is that's really where it becomes part of my play.
And I really do think, that when I see things that you've done, and just look at Mary, you can tell she's playful, a happy person. And it takes a lot of work. And a lot of people don't want to show that side of themselves. Right. Or they're insecure about that. And really, we should explore the happy, I guess, for lack of a better term. You should explore, something that makes you feel good. And I think a lot of the work that you do, and you've got this on your Facebook, it says Law of Attraction, Receiving the Love That You Desire. Yes. And I saw something on your site not long ago, and it kind of said that you were exactly where you were supposed to be.
Yes, that was yesterday.
And so tell us a little about where that comes from and that kind of philosophy, because a lot of people don't have that.
Absolutely. Well, I think that the journey to love, the journey to passion, the journey to purpose in life is understanding that you are exactly where you're meant to be. And I think when you start a journey of transformation, it starts as ignited and on fire, and you're going to conquer the world. And then reality happens. Your computer will die, or you go to do a live webcast and you realize you've double booked your assistant that's helping you with it. And it feels just rough in those moments. And it feels like you're maybe not moving forward, but you are. They're all lessons in order to help you grow, to become the person you're meant to be, and to find yourself truly in love with what you do and truly in love with life.
So you were telling me that you're starting a class and it starts tomorrow.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about developing that class and how did people find you?
Well, I do speak, and I also run advertisements. So that's how people find me, and Instagram and Facebook. And I do the Law of Attraction, Receiving the Love You Desire, that is a Facebook group that people, that's an open group, but I do have private secret groups for my classes as well. In developing the Thrive in Love and Life class, that stemmed from somebody really wanting, she asked me to come speak for her group, and I believe that all of our messages can work together. And so I asked her what she was wanting me to speak about, and she said thrive. To go from trauma to thriving. Mm-hmm. So when when I was developing the speech, I just had the exact acronym for thrive. So it's trusting and honoring your relationship roles, your intuition, your inspiration, the vehicle, your body. And then I work primarily with energy work. So I blend it all together at the end. So it was perfect.
And I think people get a lot more out of it when they can be very relatable, and that, sure, the advertisement, they go in, they find out more, and they find out more. And one thing you're going to know about Mary is she overgives. she even admitted that earlier.
I do.
She overgives. And actually, I had a reading you were also into. You gave me numbers.
Yes.
Reading, and we talked about how you just got to go do it, Therese. You just can't wait anymore. And you also incorporate some of that into your education for your clients.
Yes, absolutely. That's the energy work I have studied immensely over the last 10 years. So I blend meditation, numerology, the laws of the universe, astrology, and mindset techniques, and I blend them with the positive psychology. Now there's a lot of psychological books and resources I can pull out. However, I really believe that where we are going as a society and as a world, we need this positivity reinforced in our mind, because it wasn't something that was naturally given to us. If you look back in history, we are given a set of rules. And if you go out of those rules, it's almost like there's a whip that comes out and snaps you. And it's like the sting. And I believe that we can actually change it and heal it by bringing positive psychology. And that is believing in yourself. That is believing that the transformation that you want is around the corner. It's not going to be easy, but it is going to be simple. The steps are seriously simple. It's almost fascinating to me how simple the steps are to success and finding your passion and finding your purpose and living in full love of who you are here to be in the world. It's that easy thing that trips people up and falling back into the negative messages that are just lies.
And I believe a lot of times the people who are right there give you the aha moments, that you realize that they are there and they are nurturing for what you need. You just never saw them in that light before.
Absolutely. And I do believe that as well. And I think that when you transform as a person, the people around you have no other choice to transform with you. So it's a journey of the entire pack, I guess. And some people you'll lose along the way. And I know that some of my clients, that's been very difficult to have to say goodbye to people who aren't supporting them. But at the same time, when they get to the other side, they're very happy in the end.
They really are. They get rid of the baggage and move forward. Yes. To pick on blessings.
Yes.
To receive them. Now, I did ask you before we started, do you have some story about maybe a client, maybe something quirky that might have happened? Just kind of, something special that you had happen to you since you've been doing this.
Yeah, I think one of my biggest, I guess it would be quirky. And actually, it's not one of them. It seems to be the theme. Again, I go back to the theme, is my clients will start out wanting one thing. And then halfway through working with me, they get this clarity moment where it says, wow, I thought I was going after something completely different. And I see that happening a lot. My favorite story was working with a woman who had all of these ideas of how she wanted to get back into the workforce. She was a stay-at-home mom, and her husband had more than enough money to support her, and he was fine doing that. But she felt like she was missing something, and she was trying to figure out, how do I get back to getting in a job or a career, finding something I love? So we were really working on her love of her career at the time. And as we probably within, I would say 3 sessions, she just had this aha moment, and she said, I think I'm supposed to be the best mom. That's what my purpose is in this moment. And so we set up a plan for her to really, in her mind, because there is no definition of the best mom, but what that looked like for her. And she ended up getting on all sorts of committees with her school and volunteering. And I've really honestly just never seen anybody go from such confusion to such clarity so fast like she did, in just settling into the fact that really it was okay to do exactly what her heart wanted right then.
And I think sometimes validation, I think when you're giving that to someone, it just, they explode. They can keep going. Where
Yes.
the little insecure person, doesn't really want to ask for it, but once you validated it and they see that, hey, that's not too bad, I
Right.
think then it explodes.
Yes, and the favorite part of that was a few years ago. As her kids have gotten older, she's continued to do volunteer work. However, she's ended up getting some income off of some of the charities and some of the philanthropies that she's done.
Also, maybe that is her job. Maybe that is
Right.
her career.
That's what the beauty of it is. Yeah.
So I ask my guest questions all the time, and so what's the future hold for you? What do you see yourself doing by the end of the year?
By the end of the year, I see myself holding a really intimate retreats for people who want to just step into fully accepting the energy that is surrounded with them every single day, and how that empowers them to work with their relationships and connecting to lasting love.
Oh, that'd be awesome. And then in 5 years from now, do you have books planned?
Oh, yes. Yes.
And
Actually,
I
go
had
ahead.
a friend who was on the last Go After Your Passion, and she said, I don't call things retreats anymore. I call them summits, because we're not going backward and retreating. We're going forward.
Oh, isn't that the truth? I love that.
That was just so, and that was my aha moment for sure, that you're going for the summit.
Yeah.
And so do you have books? Do you have things like that are coming up?
Yes. I was getting ready to launch a book in November, and I put that off to the side. But that will be coming in 5 years, so watch out for that as well. My issue with books is I tend to put a lot of information in them, so it's breaking them apart and making them easy to consume.
Right.
So that is in the future for sure. I do see collaboration for me, because I have 2 energy, which is partnership energy, in my chart everywhere and all over in my numerology. So I know that that's a part of my future somehow. I don't know what that looks like. But I do see collaborating.
That would be awesome. We have some friends that have collaborated on a book, and they're just so energized now that that's happened. And I feel the people who are reading the book are energized about it as well.
Yes. So, yeah. But I think even collaborating in different arenas, I really want to bring relationship conferences to the forefront that aren't necessarily based in one religion or the other. They're just, it's a non-denominational relationship conference, and that's what I'm really looking at partnerships for in the future.
Oh, I think that's great, because, we're all one, and one is all. And what separates us is when we actually want to put a label on something, I think.
Yes.
If, be more than just label of man and woman, I just think people. And when you put labels, just, for example, man or woman, I think you're just, a label is a barrier, a label is a wall. And I liked when you said that, because you're open. You're open to just generations of people who are there for the real thing. They're in there for a relationship. They're in for love.
Yes.
They feed on it.
Yes, and I know that there's a lot of different people that could come together and give different perspectives on what love and creating love and connecting to that passion means to them. And like you said, it's always the person that's in front of you that gives you that aha moment. And I think having a stage of powerful presenters to give people that aha moment is something that's really near and dear to my heart.
Definitely. It's inspirational. It's just for the thump on the, on your head, on your forehead.
Absolutely.
So when you're being creative, what's your favorite time of day to do it? Do you have a favorite time?
Absolutely. I write in the morning, and believe it or not, it just will flow out of me. So my writing and my course creations in the morning, and then I go and meditate afterwards to integrate it and really set my intentions for the day. And I do most of my live classes in the evening because I'm more present in my body and not so much in my head and the stars in the sky. So yes, I'm more creative in the morning.
And you have a full life. How many children?
I have 2 children, and then I have 4 stepchildren.
So when I said full life, I really meant it because I couldn't remember if it was 2 stepchildren and 4 children or vice versa. So,
right.
And they keep you hopping. They just do.
Yes, they do.
Well, my final question is, did I miss anything? Is there anything you'd like to, let people know about you? About your work?
I would love for people to connect, always on Instagram, and again on Facebook. I'm happy to ask questions for people that have any kind of specific energy questions around their own unique energy, like the numerology and astrology. Mm-hmm. And I guess I just really believe that service is for everyone, and I open that up to whoever is wanting it and wants to receive it.
Thank you, Mary. I appreciate you being on. Mary came on at the last minute for me, but I wanted her next week, but I'm glad you're available today.
Yes.
I also want anyone to send me questions. I put up some of Mary's URLs, her Facebook address, or send me a question. I can forward it on to her. And I hope that you help people go after their passion. One little bookkeeping thing, we are going to have Go After Your Passion project coming soon, so look for ideas about that. That'll be listed and promoted on our social media sites. And again, thank you so much. And if you're getting this on the replay, thank you for watching. If you're watching it right now, which we have some people on right now, thank you so much. And Mary, awesome.
Thank you for having me tonight. Yes, absolutely. Anytime. I'm here to help.
All right, guys, good night. Have a great one. We'll be back next week with another guest who goes after their passion.